There's one stock that is an urgent watch. Kathy Wood just bought 2 China stocks, Baidu and Baba. I'm not going to recommend those because they're so overextended, and I believe that her Form 4 that says she bought it came out yesterday, which means she bought it a couple days before. So not only are we getting in late, but I think she was late as well, even considering her fund size and slippage and block trading and how they could have gotten into those stocks. I think NIO is a better bet for 99% of the people watching this channel, including myself. And let's look at the chart and why NIO is the stock to buy right now. Here we go. This is the chart. It's an under $10 stock, under $8 stock actually. Here's the left side peak that we're approaching, and we just got a nice little down and up situation where you can risk a little bit, maybe 50 cents, 20 cents if you want to risk yesterday's high. Had relative strength today. It is a China stock and have a nice breakout spot over 8 or even over 770. Plenty of volume. We're talking, almost $1 billion each day. And of course, it is a China stock. So that's the story. We'll talk about why that's the story in a second. But if you zoom out, yes, this thing has gone down. Yes, if we zoom out even further, yes, there was a massive euphoric run in 2020 with all the other crazy stocks that went up. And look, there's a lot of space up above $8. All we're talking about now is, can we go from $7 to maybe something like, I don't know, $12? Is that crazy to say? Get up to $12, somewhere around here, somewhere around back to 2 years ago, September. So that's the play. Risk 30 cents, make $4. That's the risk reward. Here's the deal, guys. China is the play right now. I talked about Kathy Wood. I am using her as sort of an influential figure, even though her fund has, I believe, you can check me, underperformed the S&P by, 50 basis points. I'm just throwing out numbers here. It could have been 1%. It could have been, she outperformed by 0.5%. Whatever. It was close. It was an amount that it kind of makes you scratch your head and wonder why we all talk about her at all. But, she does have a nice glowing affect, and she did buy some China stocks, and that makes a lot of sense. NIO is a Chinese EV company. Tesla just had a massive run, and they also are in the battery swapping business. Okay, they're pretty much like Tesla, but they're publicly listed. They do have competitors in the EV market as well. Xiaomi, which also makes iPhones, well, smartphones. Someone who speaks Chinese is absolutely crying right now with that pronunciation, but they sell more Teslas than more electric vehicles than Teslas. So Xiaomi, BYD is another EV company, and NIO, I guess, must be one of the smaller ones. Look, China is the world's largest auto kit, especially for EVs. That's not crazy. I mean, most people, of course, 35,000 units in China in September alone. So they definitely are significant presence. Now, all we really want to say is there risks that if we don't look at our portfolio for a month, is there going to be a problem? Sure, there can be regulatory pushback, and these are the competitors. We talked about BYD. I didn't mention Li or XPeng, but there's a handful, not just Xiaomi. History of operating losses. This is basically a penny stock that I'm recommending here. It's under $10. It's not financial advice, but it does look good momentum-wise, and some of these momentum plays are the best plays because people are buying based on the potential, not based on the reality. That is what it is. So, yes, there are tariff issues, but again, we're talking about an American-listed company that sells a lot in China. So it's a little, backwards head-scratching as to why we are even investing in this company at all, but we got to remember we're investing because the U.S. stock market is going down. Well, U.S. domestic based companies, so it makes sense that we're interested in Chinese-listed, American-listed Chinese companies that are not ADRs. That's an important distinction. The ADRs can be very volatile in a bad way, like an insane way, like you lose all your money the next day. So this is not for the faint of heart. NIO is more for the faint of heart in general. They do have this technology that apparently is pretty important. CATL, we'll keep a watch on that. I've raised a bunch of money, over $1 billion. And I'm pretty much going to stop reading off ChatGPT to you, because here's the basic deal, guys. Regulation is a problem. Will they compete against other electric vehicle companies in China is the question. We kind of already knew that. It's an $8 stock. They have losses. We're confirmed that from ChatGPT reading its 10Qs or that it pulls its revenue from. I did verify that, actually. It's very good at doing it. This is accurate. It's less boring than me pulling up the 10Qs and the statements from the SEC Edgar database as well. I believe it is. So here's the chart. This is the story. Held up after earnings, which is special for Q2. The whole market pumped the last few weeks, but this held up because there's actually strength buying in China versus the rest of the US. There's not been. Yin is a China ETF. Yang is the inverse ETF, so it should be the opposite of yin. And, this is what we're seeing, a bounce off the moving average and some moving up. So this thing moves up. That means the stocks that compose that, Futu, Tiger, XPEV, which I'll talk about in just a moment, have a lot of strength, as well as Baidu and Baba, which again are so overextended that I can't talk about those. I have to talk about NIO as the stock to buy. So I think it could explode here in a good way. I think there's an opportunity to the upside, no matter how you look at it, what time frame you look at it, even on a weekly chart. If you zoom in, there is that $8 level, and then there's another level somewhere around $10 and then beyond. So not a ton of volume, but this MACD is crossing up, which is a good sign. It's also a little bit more measured of a cross up than over here, where it just slowly went up. I wouldn't get too engrossed in this MACD. I barely know what it does or what it even means half the time, but I do know that when this thing crosses up, it is sort of an indicator that things are starting to move up. So here's a cross up, basically indicates that the moving averages are crossing. And what did NVIDIA do when this thing started to cross up? It just went on an absolute run. Is NIO the next NVIDIA? No, I'm not crazy enough to tell you that. It's just going to go to like 16 without a breath. But it is the stock to look at right now, and it makes sense as to why, people are throwing money in China companies when the US stock market is pulling back a little bit. So if you like these stock ideas, head over to stockscommunity.com. Try it out. $25 for 7 days. Give it a shot. We do have a weekly live webinar. You can ask questions, and we'll just do that in a tight-knit community. It's not, opened up to all of YouTube. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that. There are a lot of videos coming out, but based on your comments, based on the watch time, based on the likes or the lack of likes, I can figure out what to make, what to not make, and whether to scale it way back. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.